Good afternoon. The time is now 3:30 p.m. Today is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. I call to order the meeting of the Human Services Committee. A copy of the agenda for this meeting may be found on the county website or right in front of you. Please silence your phones and electronic devices. At this time, I ask that we please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Doreen, can I get a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Emo.
Here.
Carter. Here. Ellers.
Here.
Ramos. Here. Rediker.
Present.
Sutherland.
Here.
Tui. Hill.
Here.
7 present, 1 absent.
Okay, and first on our agenda is Commissioner of Social Services and Mental Health, Lacey Trimble. Resolution A, request to accept and appropriate grant funds awarded through the New York State Office of Children and Family Services and earmarked for the Multidisciplinary Team, MDT, Child Advocacy Center, CAC, and the amount of $85,400, which is the fourth quarter contracted amount and is specific to the period of October through December 2025. The total grant funds are $1,707,985 over a 5-year period, with $341,597 earmarked for each contract. A local match is not required. LR 381. Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Chance to
Discuss, okay.
I like this.
Because somebody motioned. I wasn't ready, thank you.
So this request is to appropriate funds for our CAC and MDT units. The CAC is the Child Advocacy Center. They work with the most vulnerable children in Orange County when there is severe cases that require not just our child abuse staff, but also law enforcement to be involved in those cases.
Motions? Any questions?
None.
I make, all in favor? Opposed? Legislative request B, request to accept and appropriate grant funds in the amount of $22,700 to the 2025 Department of Social Services budget. The grant funds awarded through the New York State Office of Victim Services, OVS, earmarked for the Child Advocacy Center, CAC, represents the fourth quarter contracted amount and is specific to the period of October through December 2025. The total grant funds are $90,799.08 and have been made available as part of a 1-year extension. Funds are available through September 30th, 2026. There are no local funds involved. LR number 001.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so again, these funds are for our CAC. We're in an interesting situation this year because they awarded us actually a larger amount of funds than in previous years, and we were very excited about that. And then we got a notice that the funds were rescinded across the entire state because of a procurement issue at the state level with how they did the process. So these funds are giving us what was in our original contract back to get us through until they can re-RFP those funds. So that's why we're kind of going backwards. And for the same unit.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, especially since the amount was significantly larger
Yeah.
originally.
But we are hopeful that we will get those funds back. They are reissuing.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Lacy and staff.
This is Todd.
Yes.
Todd, nice
Do you
to
want to
meet
introduce
you.
yourself? We have a lot of new folk at the table.
So I'm Todd Craner. I'm the fiscal director for the Department of Social Services.
Nice to meet you, Todd.
A wealth of historical knowledge that I don't have being newer in this position about the history of where all the money comes from and goes to.
Okay. All right, so our next item on our agenda is with our chairwoman. Oh, I'm sorry, monthly report. It's my first day. It's okay. Monthly report. Did we make a motion to?
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Okay, so the monthly report contains a lot of data. I'll kind of go through and highlight the major things for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I know this is newer for some. I promise my mental health report is shorter than my DSS one. Your first page, page 2 of the report is, starts with temporary assistance. Those cases remained constant with 580 cases in November. Individuals entering employment also remained fairly constant with 27 people in November and a total of 334 people through November of 2025. You can see kind of that we're trending slightly higher than last year in those numbers. The DSS report is always about 2 months behind because of the volume of data and the way we have to pull reports out of the state systems and things. Your next page, we have SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. 18,166 cases received SNAP benefits in November. We do see a gradual decline in those numbers over time. Our HEAP officially opened on 12/1, which is a late start. The benefit continues to be one regular benefit and one emergency benefit. But as I mentioned in the last meeting, there has been a limited opening of the furnace repair and replace that was originally not slated to open, but it is for those who are 60 and older who own their own home only. So it's a much smaller benefit than we've seen in previous years. HEAP was kind of a slow start, I think, with all of the confusion, but they are having between 1,600 and 1,700 applications a week at this point. So they are very, very busy.
Any questions?
Can I ask on the, I do have a question before we move on. How is the phone system situation working out with HEAP? I know we were down, for those who don't know, we had a phone crisis in DSS. So.
Yes, so our call center call center for the county is manned by DSS with the main number. And on Christmas Eve, our legacy system failed and was not able to recover by our vendor. So we had a replacement in the works with IT. We had to roll it out sooner, but there were some lags in the call time as people learned the system and once we got it up and running. I think it was probably lucky that it was during the holidays when the volume was a little less. So there were a few glitches where things that were supposed to come over automatically and be sent to the right places were being redirected to the wrong numbers. I think we have it all figured out. Let us know if you're hearing differently, as we are upgrading all phone numbers across the county. So our numbers, even the number you called me at, will be changing in the very near future. So I will let you know what that is. But so far, it's been better. And I think it will be better in the long run for individuals.
I had a constituent with a concern about it, and we all appreciate your timely response.
Oh, thank you. No problem. On page 4, you have emergency housing. In November, there were an average of 20.2 families in emergency housing shelter and 47.1 singles. These numbers have remained constant because the number of beds available is a constant number. We do anticipate that those numbers will increase in 2026. The Newburgh Ministry was recently approved to add 14 beds. They converted some space on the first floor of their current location with OTDA approval. And we are still working with Honor on adding additional family shelter beds in the county as well. That is with OTDA, so we're hoping to get that up and running this year. Hotel motels is on page 5. We had an average of 139 families and 227 singles in hotels and motels in November. That is an increase in both, which is typical in the colder months that we see more people coming in. We had 8 individuals who were served by the Housing Resource Center who were able to move from shelter or hotel motel placement into permanent housing, which is always nice to see. The average year to date for those numbers is 16.6 individuals a month, which is basically double what we were seeing per month moving into permanent housing compared to last year. I think this is a good time to also mention we are part of a New York State Housing Access Voucher pilot program. which will be coming up on board, and then we're hoping by March to start being able to place people through that. It's similar to Section 8 in how it's operated. Our Housing Resource Center team will be able to select families who are currently homeless to offer this opportunity, and we'll have 27 slots when it's all up and running, which will hopefully help us get some families out of the hotel motels and into a more permanent and stable situation. So we're looking forward to that.
How will they determine which families are able to do that?
So we have priorities from the state with families who are homeless first, large families who are hard to place in shelter or hotel placements. Second, and families who are being evicted are our third. If you don't have anybody who meets those criteria, you can go on to individuals.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so it was large families?
Yes,
Families that
families
are being evicted?
And families who are homeless currently already.
Okay.
So they will be priority populations. I don't foresee us having an opportunity for individuals because we do have so many families who are in need at this point. But that
So
is
they'll take
something,
into consideration longevity, like how long a family is
Yes.
as well.
yes, our team will be able to take those
Even
things
if
into
they're not
consideration.
large.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes. Project Life averaged 14.4 families in November, and we had 938 individuals experiencing homelessness receive services in November. Our average through 2025 through November was 853 individuals a month. We are continuing to actively work with our warming centers. The SOS team that Honor operates is going to the warming centers and the shelters, trying to help people move out of those really emergency placements into more permanent situations, or even from warming centers into shelter placements where there's more services. I feel like it's been successful. I know Port Jervis, for the first time that I know of, has not been completely full every night in their warming center. So it's good progress, and they feel it's partially related to that SOS teamwork.
The blue
Code Blue.
code of blue. It's been so frigid and so cold. I know that Middletown has been opening early. Are the other two able to do the same? And I believe there were funds that were actually made available, whereas last year there weren't.
So they did not give us additional funds, but they allowed us to use our current allocation when the daytime temperature is below 32 to have some extended hours.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head if the other warming centers have done that, but I can find out. Some of our warming centers were left money on the table because it was only allowed for those hours. So this should allow us to use that full allocation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
The next page, page 6, we start with Medicaid. The number of locally managed Medicaid cases continues to slowly decline, 2.94% decrease since last year. This is an anticipated decrease. Those numbers have slowly declined as the flexibilities that were COVID related have unwound. The total number of recipients those cases represent is also continuing to decline. Those who participate in managed care are also slowly going down, though we did see a small increase month over month. The year to year is still decreasing at a 1.24% decline. Your next page shows the rest of the Medicaid data because we only monitor locally a small portion of the total. There is a lag in the data that we have on this. The table shows the number of individuals in Orange County who are receiving Medicaid benefits in a given month. Since last report, we received updated data for through April of 2025. So this is from the state. You can see that we are constantly with about 106,000 people on Medicaid through the exchange. And we're really staying around the 22,000 or so in any given month, locally managed, for a total of 129,000 on average.
Legislator Lewis? Thank you. Question, so with all of the changes with HR 1 around Medicaid eligibility, I know there is an expectation that this is going to fundamentally impact our DSS department, particularly staffing and their literal workload. Have we started to see any shifts in that? I know that you had already been thinking about that. You had been thinking about some vacant positions and basically using the resources that you have right now within the DSS budget. Just curious to know if how has that been coming up already, if at all?
So because the changes haven't taken effect yet, we haven't seen the need to change staffing. What we've been doing is kind of cross-training and sharing staff as we see these changes happening. When we had no HEAP, we had the HEAP staff helping out with things like SNAP and with Medicaid. We have a high vacancy factor because it's hard to fill all the positions we have. We have approval to fill several. We're interviewing, we're trying. But it is going to be a big change. We're looking at units kind of individually to see how they're managing. I'm trying to start spending some time seeing where I can move stuff. Unfortunately, we don't know how it's all going to shake out in the end, but we do know that at the very least, our staff are going to have to do recertifications twice a year eventually instead of once a year, which is more paperwork to process. So it's ongoing conversations, but we're still looking at trying to plan. I think our first hurdle would be as we're figuring out how to notify everyone of those changes. And there's a timeline dictated by the regulations of when that process starts. So, and I'll keep you updated. for
Thank
sure.
you, please do.
So raise the age youth. We went from our second highest number in October to our second lowest number in November with 5 youth being served. The numbers do fluctuate, but they are staying kind of in that same range month over month. I do want to point out that you will see some months that you may have a high number of arrests that doesn't correspond to the number of youth because we have times where a single youth may have multiple arrests. And these are youth that we're working with our preventative programs to try to keep them out of the criminal justice system and give them the supports they need. Page 9 is Child Protective Services. We had 285 reports of child abuse or neglect investigated in November. This is a decrease from last month where we had 307 total investigations. I mentioned last month that we were monitoring proposed legislation that would change child abuse reporting in New York State to remove the option for anonymously reporting. That was signed by the governor. The goal is to reduce the number of malicious reports, particularly around things like custody battles. We do also still have some concerns that some reports may not come in that would otherwise come in that are valid reports that we want to be able to investigate. Where we stand right now is that the governor signed it, but with chapter amendments, and we're waiting to see what those chapter amendments are, which our understanding is that they're going to strengthen the confidentiality language in order to try to reassure people that it's still safe to make a report. Your name isn't going to be released, but that you do have to give a name so that they can avoid those malicious reports.
Legislator Carter?
Question, so when you said if they submit it, is there a way that they submit it with the name that just doesn't go into the report?
So
But you'll have it, but it just doesn't go into the report.
the state central registry takes the report. They decide whether or not they're going to send it down to the county. We would have the name as a county in order to complete our investigation and gather information if the state tells us we need to investigate, but we don't pass that name down to anyone else.
So I think it would just be a.
I'm so sorry, that music is distracting
it's
me.
been
Someone's
going on.
phone is going off.
Oh, it sounds like it's over
It's
there.
the,
yeah,
it's the office
yeah.
music. I'm sorry.
So sorry.
I'm sorry. So my point was saying that if there's a way that we can get the word out to reassure people that make complaints that it is, will be safeguarded, and I think that'll be the purpose of just, to eliminate the fear. That's all. I just wanted to make sure that it was just within house.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
And also, I'm thinking, will you put notice at the DSS office? Because we know people do those malicious calls and they should be warned, like, we're taking this seriously and this behavior won't be tolerated. So, I think there should be some kind of notice so people know not to do that.
We don't know yet what the directive is going to be from the state because the chapter amendments haven't been released, but our assumption is that they're going to put out approved messaging that we will be placing in our offices as well as sharing with the community. Foster care is next on page 10. We've provided out-of-home placement to 131 children in November, which makes our year-to-date average 148, another record low for us. I know Legislator Ramos knows this is one of my favorites because we've really put a lot of effort over the years collaborating between departments and with the court system to reduce the number of kids who are coming into care and shorten their time in care. once they have needed to be in foster care for a period of time. And we're really seeing the impact of that work, and it's exciting to see that. Adult Protective Services is your next step. Oh,
Thank you. Does this show how many children are in foster? Is that the number there? There are 8 children. Is there a number of children who are still in foster care?
the 131
The
is the children
131?
currently in care.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So Adult Protective Services is next. That number has remained very stable. Our average is 252.4 for the year. We've kind of been ranging in the 240s the end of the year. They do a great job supporting the older adults in our community who need that extra level of care to make sure that they're safe. Home care, the numbers have remained constant. There was some hiccups in the beginning of last year with the change to CDPAP at a state level to one fiscal intermediary, but we have, I think, caught everyone and got everybody what they needed in place. So we're just continuing to manage that and submit data to the state as needed, but it's all going very well at this point. Page 11, you have child support. The child support unit served 9,304 cases in November. Over 3.1 million was collected and dispersed for a year-to-date total of 39 million in child support. Page 12, the Special Investigations Unit investigated 125 beds and EDR cases in November with the goal of preventing inappropriate payments. I know because we have some people who haven't been here before, the FED stands for front-end detection, and it's a process for investigating cases where there's questionable or insufficient documentation, so we don't ever issue benefits in the first place. A lot of times it's somebody didn't turn in something they needed to, or they made a mistake on an application. So we just prevent it from the start. Our total cost avoidance for this year so far is 8.1 million in avoided costs. We did have 59 investigations completed in November with 43 substantiated. 24 resulted in overpayments. So our savings to date on the investigations is 38,480. So you can see a lot more saved on the front end than on finding things on the back end. So they're doing a great job on that. And that's all for the report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions?
Any questions? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, we don't have to vote on the report.
It's okay. And next up, we have our chairwoman, Lori Fertel. And this is a legislative request, resolution of the Orange County Legislature appointing members to the Housing Task Force Committee.
Thank you. Every year, our special committees need to be renewed by resolution. The housing, the transportation, all the task force and special committees. So this is a resolution reappointing the Housing Task Force Committee pursuant to section 2.02 of the Orange County Charter, Article 4, Paragraph G of the Legislative Manual. We have Gabrielle Hill, Stephen Hunter, Sparrow Tobin, Genesis Ramos, Robert Sassy, Janet Sutherland, Kathy Stenanga appointed to the committee.
Motion.
We need a motion now.
Can I have a motion? So moved. Second? All in favor?
No question.
Oh, we have a question?
Or just because this is always been a number of the special committees, in which next meeting will be part of them. I think it's important, it's not this, and maybe the council can help us, they're not this, they don't follow the same meetings law. Meetings law that regular statute, so that you can do virtually, people can call in. What is that, what can you do for the church as well? Because if they don't have the same restrictions that everybody has to show up in the building. Have meetings.
I did have this conversation with council.
I just wonder if that's still the case, that's all.
You could chime in, please.
So the special committees do not require a quorum of the committee to conduct any business because of essentially the committee doesn't conduct business. There's no voting that takes place. It's solely advisory in nature, so the rules are different than the statutory committees.
And hybrid, they can do.
Absolutely. You could appear in a hybrid setting of virtually for an individual while the remainder of the committee meets in person, or altogether one way or the other.
But what if you do have a vote on these special committees, because there are things that are voted on?
No, the special committees do not take votes. That's why the special committees have oversight committees that are statutory committees. So if there are advisory, things that come out of the advisory committees, reports, recommendations, that then gets referred to the statutory committee that
Got
has
it.
oversight.
So basically you can do either or just one, or can you have like half and half?
In terms of the hybrid?
Yeah.
It could be any combination.
Whatever the chairman wants, I understand. Chairman's prerogative. Is that how you leave it to be, or?
That, whatever the committee decides to do, and the chairman decides to do.
The chairman of the committee.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Just a comment I make, over the years that I've been involved and chaired these, there's a real advantage of the virtual, because you really want to get business taken care of. Sometimes somebody's personal schedule won't allow them to come to a meeting, so still want them. And so how do you do that? It's to be able to have that in your pocket, to be able to say, it's gonna be hybrid today, or we're gonna make it all virtual, because 3 people are tied up and they can get a half hour. Because you really want to get the most robust information in for the decision. But if you just, I just want to know, because it wasn't in there, because the new people didn't understand something. Wasn't trying to rewrite the rules.
No, I'm glad you brought it up.
Just have a question. Is there a attendance mandate, like, because we do have fluctuating schedules, so out of how many meetings are we having once a month? So there's 12 minutes.
You are an elected
Yeah.
official. As such, you have committee assignments. What you choose is you as an elected official's decision. If we do not have for a statutory committee, a minimum of 5 people for a quorum, the committee meeting cannot be held by our county charter.
I thought she was talking about the special committee.
Well,
You're
I
talking
needed
about
that, I
special
needed that
committees?
information too.
Yeah,
That's
special
all.
committees,
Okay.
you do not need a quorum. Because there's no votes that are taking place.
Any further discussion or questions? Can I get a motion?
No.
Oh, we did that? We're good? So we did it the other way around, so please forgive me. We did discussion and we did motion, then discussion. So that's how I gotta work this out. But, it's all good. All right, well, can I have a motion to, oh, we have all here? All in favor?
Aye.
That's what I. Opposed? Motion to adjourn, so
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Thank you. Thank you.